Always great catching with my next guest, Slippery Peter Barrett, back here on the program. He's fighting Joe Giannetti, Cage Titan 66 this Saturday. And I got to remind everyone, that's going to be live on Spectation Sports. Slippery Pete, how you doing?
Oh man, good. It's good to talk to you again. And like it's been some time, but I feel like we used to chop it up pretty regularly. And
We did.
that it's nice to see a familiar face.
For sure. I'm still existing. I'm not AI generated. I've been here for a while. But how about this fight? I mean, what a time to get to talk to you, man, because I've been following the regional scene for a while. I know this is a fight that's been brewing for such a long time, for years. Did you ever think this wouldn't happen? Because this was a fight that I know was trying to get put together, and now it's finally happening on Saturday.
Long story short, like I never really cared about this fight. He's kind of been like my biggest, what's the word you would use here? He's like my best public relations agency that I never had to hire. No matter what I do, good or bad, he's always leading the charge, putting my name out there for the people that wouldn't be talking about me. So I'm super grateful for that. But it's just, I've been doing my thing. I've been focusing on trying to get my ass back in the UFC, and he's been chirping and pushing for this fight. So it really wasn't a big deal for me, but I told myself that I would fight the winner of the last title fight, and I honestly thought I was going to go the other way. Turned out to be Giannetti, and I'm a man of my word. So before even that fight had even happened, me and Mike Pulver had talked about taking the winner of that. So it was like the perfect storm.
When did you find out? It looked like you had a lot of notice for this fight.
So I talked to Mike. When was the last Cage Titans event? I talked to Mike. I took my dog. We went to the last Cage Titans event, saw how the fight unfolded. I grabbed Mike that night at the event, and I was like, hey, I'm still thinking about what we talked about. I know I had anticipated it going the other way, but like we can put an end to this nonsense. So I called him the next Sunday. I was out walking my dogs, and we started to put the fight together. I had been looking to do something with Game Bread and do a little foray into bare knuckle MMA. There's like a bucket list of things I want to do before I retire, and bare knuckle is definitely one of them. So Mike knew that, and I told him if we were going to do this, it had to be, let's try to see if we can get some money from Spectation and make this, a good purse. Maybe the biggest purse in Cage Titans history. So we started to go to work the day after the last event, made some negotiations, got some, I had a list of demands. He had a list of demands. We got everything figured out. And then we went to Joe with the fight and made the fight like a week or two after the last event. So we've both had ample time. It's been like probably like a 6 or 7 week camp, which has been great. My weight's been low the whole time, and we've just really had an opportunity to work on the things that we needed to work on.
I love it, man. And you've been on quite the roll, 5-fight win streak. What do you attribute that to? Is there anything in particular that you feel like you really, sort of helped find you success here? What's been the reason for the win streak?
Mentally, there was a realization, I need to put my money where my mouth is. I kind of went at the UFC a little differently. I wasn't as aggressive as I normally am. Tried to play it more of a tactician, and it kind of blew up in my face. I came back to Cage Titans, and I was just pushing forward on the gas. I'm a cardio monster. I've got a coach that works with me with my breath work. My VO2 max is through the roof. My Aura Ring app, which I got from the UFC, which is awesome, tells me my cardio age is 8 years younger than what I actually am. So I'm like pushing the age of an elite 29-year-old, not a 38-year-old man, which is fantastic. Or 37. I apologize. I'm not 38 yet. And it's been a good, everything's been, pushing in the right direction. And it's been a great opportunity to just work on some things.
That's cool, man. By the way, are you still grounding? I remember we talked about that in an interview a while ago. Like you get off the plane and you would put your feet in the ground. Are you still doing that?
Dude, people make fun of me. We're going to get these on camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I did just get my toes done for fight night. So they got this nice,
I was going to say
red pop to them. But so check this out. I wear these shoes.
Yeah.
Called Earth Runners, and they've got copper plug right there that run through the laces. So as long as I'm not on concrete or pavement, I'm grounding. And I take my dogs for a walk with my son every morning. We go through the grass. It's like being barefoot.
Yeah,
all the
no, it's
time.
great. And do you like, and are those barefoot shoes as well? Like they have like the nice zero drop and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge advocate, huge fan. I can run in these. I can do sprints in these. I don't recommend it, but um, I wear them every day. I wear them in the winter as long as it's not snowing.
So right now doing this interview, I have an earth mat underneath me. I'm barefoot
Awesome.
and I wear, all my shoes are barefoot now. I switched over to all of them. So like my regular shoes, my running shoes, Zero Shoes, that's one of the companies in the US. I have like a bunch of those
I
shoes
love
that I use.
zeros.
Yeah. So they're getting a free plug here, but they're awesome. Like, especially for weightlifting, because like you're getting that perfect surface when you're doing like squats and deadlifts and stuff. I highly recommend it. So you were one of the first people that put me onto this actually, because with the grounding thing, and then I looked into it after. So you can thank yourself for that. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Zero actually makes like industry shoes. So I wear them
Yeah.
when I bartend on my long shifts, and they're slip resistant, nice black leather shoes. They're great for like nurses, doctors, anybody on their feet all day. I love them. I can't say enough great things about them.
There you go. So people don't think this is an infomercial. Let's talk about Joe Giannetti. Style wise, how are you looking at this fight? Obviously, he's a veteran like you. He's a tall, lanky guy. How do you sort of look at this one?
Yeah, I mean, they tell you that your jab can take you around the world, and I think your jab defense can take you around the world. He's a little bit taller. He's going to have a bit of a height advantage. If I take away his jab, he's going to have to build a new game from somewhere else. So I'm really anticipating him with that, his characteristic style of in and out, kind of like a little Klitschko bounce the whole time. He has to slow down to strike, keep my range, and fight him, very similar to the way that I fought Chase Hooper, except I'm gonna fucking hurt this one. I was a little too nice to Chase, and I didn't really put the heat on him in ways that I could have, and that was one of the biggest, epiphanies that I had after the UFC. I need to get back to this highly calculated violence, and I need to put a beating on these people and put like my stamp of approval on every ass beating that I hand out. And that's really what I've been focusing on since then.
Now where are you training now? Who's helping you get ready for this fight? I know we've talked over the years. You've trained at a lot of different places. Where are you now, and who are you working with?
So I'm over at Lausanne MMA every day.
Nice.
I teach there, I coach there, I train there, but I'm also up at Sit Yud Tong for team training. That's where I go get my sparring. So I've got Joe, calling all the shots for the groundwork. I've got Andy Cody from Sit Yud Tong with the pads and, giving me my striking perspectives. Longtime friend, UFC vet, Jay Perrin, he's been helping out a lot with the pads too. And, with my nomad style, I've been doing a lot of work under Coach Barry Robinson. He's got an awesome Patreon account where you can subscribe. I pay like $50 a month, video breakdowns, workouts, like everything. I don't like to tell people about that because I kind of want to like keep them to myself.
Right. Okay.
But he's worked with all the greats. He's helped a lot of Muay Thai guys get ready for K1. He's helped a lot of boxers on the B side beat the A side. Like if you haven't looked into Coach Barry Robinson, I suggest checking him out. He's the rhythm step guy, just a dude from New York that really took on to boxing, and he's an incredible coach.
Love it. Weight cuts obviously going well. I know you got to be making the weight here, and you're a veteran. You always make weight, right?
Come on. I'm like Shreddy Krueger right now.
Yeah.
I could eat whatever I want and still make weight.
Love it.
I've been as low as 161 already, and then I made a decision to eat some more rice and get some more carbs into my life. So I've been maintaining between 165, 166, but I was down at 163 today, so I'm in great shape.
Your corner, who will be in the cage with you that night?
Joe Lozon, Andy Cody, and Jay Perrin.
And how's this fight playing out? How do you see it going down on Saturday?
Oh, we're gonna put the foot on the gas, and we're gonna leave this kid in the dust. But very much similar to the way the Jacob Bone fight panned out, But I have 5 rounds to do it, so I'm not in a rush. I think patience can be my biggest adversary, and then we're gonna grab his neck and choke him out.
Love it. Simple as that. You talked about kind of your career and where you want to go from here. I know obviously on the bucket list is game bred. And is there any other things you want to accomplish? I mean, you've done so much in your career already. What are some of the goals ahead after this fight? Not looking past Saturday, obviously.
Yeah, no, I want to get back in the UFC. That's like the penultimate goal. If I can get back in the UFC and put some money away and maybe open a gym and pay for my childcare, which is foul right now in America, it's like a whole nother mortgage. So that would really help. If I can make some changes with some UFC money for my family, that would be great. you know, putting JoJo's head in my bag is going to make a stronger argument that I deserve to be at that next level again. If that's not necessarily right there, we're going to pursue game bred. They they weren't making fights while they were in camp for that fight for the last 2 months. So now that they've fought, to the best of my understanding, the matchmaker is going to be making fights again, and that should put me right on a timeline to come back and fight in September and put on a show there as well.
Anyone you want to fight in game bred? Any bare knuckle guys you're looking at, like just in the future?
No, honestly, I think that it's a great financial opportunity, and it's right up my alley. It kind of plays to my style, and I see the I see the success that
Yes.
Randy's been having down there, and I'm happy for him, but I want a little bit of that action.
There we go. And we're certainly going to get some action here this Saturday. Live on Spectation Sports. It is Cage
Hell
Titans
yeah.
66. Slippery Pete. So good catching up with you, man. Glad to hear everything's going great. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I will give you the last word.
Yes, sir. So, guys, if you're in the New England, if you're in, the South Shore area in Massachusetts, Power Aquatics swim program. I've had my son in two segments now, and they're phenomenal. They were a huge sponsor here. He's also a fellow jiu-jitsu guy. He trains over at Lozon MMA with us, and he helped me out immensely for this camp, and I'm super grateful for them. My family restaurant business, the Terrell Room, helped me out phenomenally. Kind Farm Reserve, they made sure I didn't have to spend any money on any of this great cannabis that they provided me with, and it's helped keep my money in the fight camp, which has been great. And then my training partners in my training camp at Lozon MMA and Sit Ya Tongue.